Hello everyone, welcome to lecture number 4 of current electricity. So in the previous lecture we have discussed the very fundamental law of current electricity, that is Ohm's law. We have proved the Ohm's law by analytic method also. After that we discussed the specific resistance or resistivity of a metal. After that we calculated the relation between resistivity and conductivity. We found the relation between current density and electric field. So today we will start our lecture with a question, and the question is, a wire is drawn to double its length. Find the relation between its initial and final resistance. So if you have a wire of some finite length L and the same wire is drawn to double its length, means if the initial length was L, the final length will be 2L. Then question is asking to find the relation between initial resistance and final resistance. So here is the solution. We know the relation of resistance with its length is given by R is equals to rho L divided by A, where rho is the resistivity, L is length of the wire, and A is area of cross section. Suppose this is your wire of length L1 and area of cross section is A1. So if you double it, then its new length becomes 2L1, and if A2 is the new cross sectional area. So what is the common thing in these two wires? The common thing is volume. When the length was L and after the length becomes 2L, volume remains same. As you know the formula of volume, volume can be written as area into length. So initially volume was equal to, this is the area of cross section A1 into length L1, and after the elongation volume is equal to 2L1 into A2. This is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. As the volume remains same, we can equate these two. So equating equation number 1 and 2, A1 L1 will be equal to 2 L1 A2. So from this equation L1 cancels out, and from this equation I can write A1 divided by A2 will be equal to 2. This is equation number 3. As question is to find the relation between new resistance and old resistance, then R1 can be written as rho L1 divided by A1 and R2 can be written as rho 2L1 divided by A2. As the resistivity remains same, so in both cases rho is same. Now I will take the ratio of these two, that is R2 divided by R1, and this will give us R2 rho 2L1 divided by A2. R2 by R1 comes out to be rho 2L1 divided by A2 into rho L1 divided by A1. So L1 and L1 cancel out, rho cancel out. So I am left with 2 into A1 divided by A2. And from equation number 3, A1 divided by A2 is equal to 2. So R2 divided by R1 will be equal to 2 into 2, that is 4. So new relation between initial and final resistance is R2 is equals to 4 times R1. So now we will discuss the effect of temperature on resistivity. As you know, the relation between resistivity and resistance is rho is equals to Ra divided by L, or rho is equals to m divided by n e squared tau. So In the case of metal conductors, the charge carriers are electrons, or we can say free electrons are there to carry the electricity. So if in a metallic conductor the temperature rises, then resistivity increases. We can understand it in the following way. If in a metallic conductor the temperature increases, then the charge carrier inside it, due to temperature increase, the velocity of charge carriers also increase. If the velocity of the charge carrier increases, then there will be more number of collisions. If there are rapid collisions, then relaxation time period will decrease. If the relaxation period will decrease and number of collisions increase, then there will be more resistance and more resistivity. It can be explained from this diagram. If the temperature increases in any metallic conductor, then thermal velocity of current carriers will increase. If the thermal velocity increases, relaxation period decreases, and if relaxation period decreases, means number of collision will increase and number of collisions of electron will increase, which will lead to increase in resistance. So as temperature increases, resistivity increases in the case of metallic conductors. Next important term in this is thermal coefficient of resistance. So thermal coefficient of resistance is defined as the increase in resistance per unit original resistance when its temperature is increased by 1 degree Celsius. So you can understand this by following explanation. If sample resistance, this is sample resistance, you have a resistance which is taken as sample and its resistance is R0, and you now heat it by temperature delta T, and R is the new resistance. So now increase in resistance per unit resistance will be equal to R minus R0 divided by R0. So increase in resistance per unit resistance will be equal to R minus R0 divided by R0, and rise in temperature is delta T. So from the definition, thermal coefficient of resistance is defined as the increase in resistance per unit original resistance when temperature is increased by 1 degree Celsius, or here delta T is the change in temperature. So alpha will be equal to R minus R0 divided by R0 delta T. So from here I can write it as R is equals to R0 plus alpha R0 delta T, or R will be equal to R0 1 plus alpha delta T, where alpha is thermal coefficient of resistance and this is new resistance, R0 is original resistance, or this relation shows us the behavior of resistance with temperature. I write it here. So this is the equation which shows the relation of resistance with temperature. So this was the effect of temperature on metallic conductor. Now we will see the effect of temperature in the case of alloys. In the case of alloys, the resistance do not change with temperature. So this property of alloys is used to make the standard resistances in labs. Next is the case of electrolytes. So in the case of electrolytes, cations and anions are the charge carriers. So when we increase the temperature in the case of electrolytes, the resistance decreases. The reason is as the temperature increases, the density decreases. It means the liquid or the electrolyte becomes thin, so it is easy for the ions to move then. So as we increase the temperature of electrolyte, the resistivity will decrease. So in the case of electrolytes, with increase in temperature, resistance decreases. It can be shown with the help of the following diagram. If electrolyte is exposed to a higher temperature, then electrolyte becomes thin and it is easy for ions to move here and there in thin electrolyte, so resistance decreases. Next case is of semiconductor. So in the case of semiconductor, the charge carriers are electrons or holes, but if we increase the temperature of semiconductor, then its resistance also decreases. Why? Because there are some free electrons or holes, but there are not that much electrons like a metallic conductors. So if we increase the temperature, the electrons will move fast, which will lead to resistance decrease. So in the case of semiconductor, temperature increases, then resistance decreases. As semiconductor is exposed to high temperature, the number of electrons will increase, or the population of electrons will increase. It will lead to current, or we can say the resistance will decrease in that case. Similar is the case of insulators. If we increase temperature, electrons will eject out of the atom and it will lead to current, or we can say resistance will decrease. But it is not true in practical, because as insulator do not conduct electricity, so if we increase temperature, it burns out. Next is thermistors. So thermistor is a very heat sensitive device whose resistivity changes very rapidly with temperature. So for this property, they are used in thermometers. Next is superconductors. As the name suggests, superconductors are those materials whose resistivity is zero, or that's why they are called superconductors. So superconductors are those materials whose resistance is zero. Next is non-ohmic devices or non-ohmic resistors. So from Ohm's law, you have seen that V is directly proportional to I, or V is equals to IR. This is Ohm's law. So the devices or the circuits, certain circuits show V proportional to I relation, and the graph comes out to be straight line in that case. So the devices which show V directly proportional to I are called ohmic devices or ohmic resistors. But there are some circuits which do not show the linear behavior, are called non-ohmic resistors. Like in this is not a straight line, but it is kind of a curve. So this device shows non-ohmic behavior. Examples of non-ohmic behavior are metal at high current or semiconductors. Next topic in this chapter is carbon resistors. So resistors used for domestic use are of two types. Number one, wire bound resistors. Number two, carbon resistors. So carbon resistors are very compact in size and they are very inexpensive. You must have seen carbon resistors in your lab. Carbon resistors look like this: a small porcelain strip, and which has two hands of metal, and there are small strips of different color. Each colored strip indicates a different color code, or these colors tell the value of the resistor, how much resistance this resistor has. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will give it a name: first strip, second strip, third strip, and fourth strip. So as I have already said, these strips indicate different color, and each color has some code by which you can calculate the total resistance of the resistor. So as I have already told you, the value of resistance of the carbon resistors and the percentage of accuracy are indicated on them by different strip of colors. There could be 3 strips or 4 strips. So here I am making a table where different color of strip will indicate the different number. So here I am writing a sentence which will be helpful for remembering the color coding of carbon resistor, and the sentence is B. Roy. You are instructed to read this sentence as it is written. B. Roy. B is capital, ROY is capital. B. Roy, great. Great, in the great only G is capital. B. Roy, Great Britain, very good, wife, wearing gold, silver. So I have highlighted the words which are in the color code table with black letter. B means black. This is B. Roy, Great Britain, very good, wife, wearing gold, silver, no color. Okay. So first B is for black, next B is for brown, R is for red, R for orange, Y for yellow, G for green, B for blue, violet is for V, grey G, then white, then gold, silver and no color. So the number which these color will indicate will start from 0. For first it is 0, then 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the multiplier will be, for 0 it is 10 raised to power 0, and for 1 it is 10 raised to power 1. Similarly 10 raised to power 2, 10 raised to power 3, 10 raised to power 4, 10 raised to power 5, this is 10 raised to power 6, 10 raised to power 7, 10 raised to power 8 and 10 raised to power 9. And for gold and silver it is 10 raised to power -1 and 10 raised to power -2. Now I will explain how you can find out the value of resistance by these strips. If this is your ceramic cylinder, means this is a resistor and it has 4 strips in it. In first question, if first strip is orange in color and second strip is blue in color, the third strip is in yellow color and fourth strip has golden color, then what will be the value of this resistors? When it is asked to decode the value of resistor or calculate the resistance in any resistor, then first you will see the number. Before orange, in the table the number for orange was 3, for blue number was 6, and for yellow it was 4, and for gold tolerance is 5%. By tolerance we mean it could be error of +5% or -5%. So to calculate the value of resistance, we will write it as 36 into, this will go in power multiplier, 36 into 10 raised to power 4, and this in plus minus 5%. So I can write it as 360K plus minus 5% ohm. Next question is, if the first strip is of yellow color, second is of red color, third is of orange color and fourth is of golden color, then what will be the value of resistance? First, what will you do? You will write the number. For yellow number is 4, for red it is 2, for orange it is 3, and for gold it is 5% tolerance. So now I will write it simply as 42 into 10 raised to power 3 plus minus 5%. So plus minus could be error, and this is the value of resistance. In the next question, the value of resistance is given and you need to find the colors in it. So value of resistance is 2.4 into 10 raised to power 6 plus minus 20%. So plus minus 20% is for no line. So first we will write it in the form of 24 into 10 raised to power 5, 24 into 10 raised to power 5 plus minus 20%. So 2 number is for red color, and then 4 is for yellow, then comes 5 is for green color, and finally 20% means no line. So this is all for today. So for carbon registers, first you need to remember this line: B.B. Roy, Great Britain, very good wife, wearing gold, silver. So you will write first letter associated with this line: B.B. Roy, Great Britain, very good wife, gold, silver, necklace or no color. Okay, this is different thing and this is one table. So for first is black, then brown, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, gray and white. Then you will write the number associated with the all these colors. You will start from 0, 1 2 3 and so on 9. Then multiplier would be 10 raised to power 0, 10 raised to power 1, 10 raised to power 2, like in this way. And tolerance is for only gold, silver, and if there is no color, there would be only silver color or gold color, or there will be no color in the register. So tolerance is for gold, silver and no color. And this is the multiplier for gold and silver, that is 10 raised to power minus 1 and 10 raised to power minus 2. So with the help of this table, we can decode the value of any register, or we can find out what will be the colors in the register if we form the carbon register. Here I end my today's lecture. Thank you for watching this video.